I just want to have a word with the men of America here. This is a constitutional right that belongs to all of us, that benefits all of us. We have a constitutional right to these services, to help provide these services for our daughters, for our granddaughters, for our sisters, for our wives, for girlfriends. We have that. We men have that constitutional right. And because we are being robbed of a constitutional right, it is impossible for some of us to mute the rage that that theft deserves.
I would like to speak to America's men for 1 minute. Imagine you do not have authority over your own body for 10 months. Imagine if that decision-making would not be taken away, even if you would die in childbirth. Even if you could decide who you were having children with. Even if you could decide when you were having that child. I don't think a man in America could actually imagine not having control of his body, his bodily functions, what happens to him, and what life would be like for 10 months. It is an outrage that we have 5 justices on the Supreme Court who lied in their confirmation hearings in order to be confirmed.
The Supreme Court wants to be the champion of rape dads. It wants to create a class of rape dads in America. Because the Supreme Court is saying there need be absolutely no exception to banning all abortion in America. No exceptions for rape, no exceptions for incest. The Supreme Court wants to create this new class of dads. The rape victims will have to suffer. And the Supreme Court is hoping what? That then when these rapists get out of prison, if they ever go to prison, that they will then reconcile with the children, the girls they have raped. That is the future that this Supreme Court is imagining, filling this country with rape dads. They lied. That accusation has never been made by a United States Senator in the history of the United States Senate, in the history of the United States Supreme Court. Senator Gillibrand was just saying that 5 members of the United States Supreme Court lied their way onto the Supreme Court. That has never been said before in the United States Senate. And they are not the only ones. A Republican president privately saying, of course you should have abortion in cases of rape, and of course you should have abortion in the case of a pregnancy involving sex between a black person and a white person. That's the kind of abortion President Nixon thought was absolutely necessary. That was his word, necessary. Republicans in Washington have spent decades lying about more things than they can keep track of. Remember that they lie about tax cuts for the rich, increasing revenue to the Treasury. They've always lied about that, no matter how many times it has been proven to be a lie. And now they've gone all the way to lying about who won the presidential election. What could ever stop them from lying about abortion, lying about what they really think about abortion? I, for one, believe that every Republican member of the United States Senate who favors banning all abortions is an abject liar. They are all a version of Richard Nixon. There is not a single Republican member of the United States Senate who would force a daughter or a granddaughter who was raped to have that baby, to force a raped child to give birth to a child, to force her to do that is barbaric. And every Republican senator knows that. On page 66 of his draft opinion, Sam Alito says that abortion is barbaric. He approvingly quotes the Mississippi law at issue in the case, calling abortion, quote, a barbaric practice. The Mississippi legislature wants to force raped children in Mississippi to have children. Samuel Alito holds to his traditional Catholic opinion that abortion is murder, but judges don't like to make pronouncements like that themselves if they can find someone else to quote saying what they want to say. So Samuel Alito does that on page 17 of his draft opinion, where he quotes Sir Edward Cook, saying in 17th century England that abortion is murder. But even Sir Edward Coke sounds like a Roe versus Wade supporter, because he does not believe abortion is murder until the fetus can be felt to be moving inside the womb. And at the same time that Sir Edward Coke was thinking about where the line should be drawn on legal and illegal abortion, he was also rewriting England's laws against witchcraft to strengthen those laws in 1604 to provide a death penalty for witches who, quote, invoke evil spirits. Samuel Alito is asking the Supreme Court of the United States to take moral guidance from a man who believed in witches and believed in putting them to death, just as we did in this country throughout the 17th century, an era that Samuel Alito reveres in our legal history. Samuel Alito and his clerks play amateur historian in their draft opinion, and their scholarship is shabby, it is biased, and in the case of Edward Coke, it is deranged.